welcome. We're really happy that you guys are here. I know, it's always fun to do workshops that are recorded because then you can play them at twice the speed and everything else and all of that. So I know you guys are spending the time to be here in person. I'm really happy that you're here. We do have a poll on the screen. And Stella, if you don't mind, I'd like to put you to work because John's not here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. Would you mind managing the chat? And also, if you could put the workbook into the chat in case anybody hasn't downloaded that yet. Yeah, let's do introductions while we're here. Of course, I'm Paula Williams, ABCI. We help aviation companies sell more of their products and services. I think you guys all know me in one way or another, which is great. And I'm really happy that you're here. And we'll just kind of go in order of appearance. So Ben, then Stella, then Kelly. And then if anybody else dings in between now and then, hopefully they will catch on to what we're doing exactly. So Ben, please go ahead.
I'm Ben Nyvert. I work work at DBT.Aero. We're developing a ultra-modern, efficient UAV and eventually a full certified 6 and 9 passenger aircraft.
It is very, very cool. And it looks sort of like the thing that's over your right shoulder. Right shoulder.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Very, very cool. And yeah, they're a really fun team to work with. We're enjoying that. Stella, you're next.
All right. Well, I'm coming to you from hot weather. We're like at 97 degrees today.
Oh, man.
I know. Just hoping that there's no electrical outlets or no electrical faults or whatever, because they've been doing rolling blackouts.
Wow.
Because of the heat. And then, of course, no fan, no electricity. Oh, my gosh. It gets to be so.
Oh, I'm sure.
Where are you, Stella?
I'm in the middle of Mexico. I'm in Querétaro.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
I know. Stella's our digital.
So I'm a copywriter and a few other things for Paula and other companies. I enjoy writing and creating content.
And she does an amazing job of case studies and travel pieces and all kinds of stuff that we ask her to do all the time. So yeah, happy you're here. And also does a great job of managing the chat. So, yeah, go ahead and answer the poll while we're doing this. If you have an opinion, what's your biggest challenge with networking online? And Kelly, please introduce yourself. There's a lot you can say as well.
Hi, I'm Kellie Rittenhouse. My day job and night and 24/7 job. I'm the director of aviation for a company called Hangar Aviation Management in Waterford, Michigan. And we're a domestic and international flight department, very lean organization. Stay busy with that. I'm holding my breath because it's the calm before the storm. We're about to enter a very, very, very busy summer season and trying to find some time to work on my own personal brand and not quite figuring that out yet. That might be my biggest challenge. It's time.
Oh man. Yeah. Isn't that everyone's, but you especially? I'm actually, every time I talk to Kelly, she is in some exotic location in the world, managing 25 things and juggling 47 balls and managing to do a Zoom call with me at the same time. So it's really pretty cool.
All right, go for it, Kelly.
And I have all of these ideas and I'm like, I'm going to, got to get there. So,
right. And it's hard to have a routine when there is no such thing as a routine because your life is dictated by forces beyond your control.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. Jean, good to see you.
I'm Gene Clow. I have Great Circle Aircraft, which is an aircraft brokerage based out of Kirkland, Washington.
Absolutely. Gene's one of my mentors in this business. He knows so much about so many things, and any question about the industry, he's the guy to ask. So that is absolutely phenomenal to have you online. Okay. So it looks like people are answering the question. We have a poll on the screen. What is your biggest challenge with networking online? And you can answer that in the chat if you have the chat available to you in your Zoom. Number one, finding the right people. Number two, knowing what to say. Number three, AI bots and unreal people. And number four is other, write in. So, yeah, I think
A mix at this point.
Go ahead, Stella.
It's a mix at this point. We have a 1, a 2, and a 3.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, yeah, finding the right people. For me, that has always been a challenge, but it's so much easier with LinkedIn the way it is now than it was a few years ago. And we'll be talking about that today. Ben, did you want to talk about your answer? You said number one, finding the right people and starting the conversation. I guess that's kind of a, like always call it breaking the ice because there's always ice, right?
Yeah, well, I think it's, I do better in small groups and one-on-one than I do in large groups. I find I'm just not that comfortable. I have a really good friend here. He's just amazing. You can drop him in a group of people and he's just does this great job of talking to a lot of people and wandering and working the room.
That's amazing.
So, I just don't have that talent. So, I try and find someone and then trying to have a conversation with someone you don't know, it doesn't work very well for me. But
yeah,
I try it, but it's not that great in groups.
Same.
And so online, kind of worse. There is a couple of groups that I am online with, and once you get to know them, it kind of works. But if you've got a group that you're just meeting, and you might not meet again, or you meet, a couple of times a year, that doesn't work out very well.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward. I feel that way even with family. Sometimes, there's cousins and things that I haven't talked to in a million years. And it's just like, where do you even start? And you don't want to step on any landmines or anything. So, it's just difficult. But,
well, I'm from New York. My whole family talks at the same time. So
that helps. No awkward silences because there's no silences.
No awkward silences and no one listens. We all just talk at the same time. So it works out really well.
That's cool. So Stella, you're running into AI bots and unreal people. You had any marriage proposals from Nigerian princes lately?
Actually I have. It's like, who's gonna show up
and you turn me down
today? Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I love your picture and you're so beautiful and where are you? It's like, okay, there's my first clue. You have not done any homework.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean that, and you look at, people like to post AI pictures online about this beautiful place and you go, where is that? It's AI, I don't know. And you're like, okay, a beautiful place, I want to go there.
Yeah.
But it's fake, so you can't go there.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to know, what's real, what's not real, because there's no disclaimer. This was created by AI. Or I'm a troll looking to steal your information and take over your Facebook account or whatever.
Yeah.
It seems to become more and more easy for people to do that as we embrace AI and bots and all this other modern technology.
Yeah. And I think inflated bios have been a problem for a really long time on LinkedIn as well. So, you're connecting with somebody that you think is going to be a good fit for something, and then it turns out they are not who you thought they were, so that's
Right.
the problem also.
Right.
Great. Kellie, you mentioned, so many fake things, time and consistency. Consistency and time management. That's one of the things we're going to be talking about today is batching. But I can see why this would be a problem, especially with your situation and lifestyle and your responsibilities that you have so many hats that you're holding on to.
It's also, challenging for me sometimes because I'm trying to have better boundaries so that I just don't go down some rabbit hole because it's so easy to do, right? So that's an aspect of the time management. If I said I'm going to give this much time or set a like I like your ideas of your wins on Wednesdays and Fridays, recommending someone. Like I like that. I just know I need to be more guarded with that time because I'm so easily distracted.
Yeah.
And some of it just feels good to go and read or connect, and then the next thing you know, it's an hour and a half later and I'm like, oh my word, now what? So that's kind of tricky for me. Yeah.
Understood. Yeah. And sometimes I find myself getting into a conversation, which ends up going someplace that I had no intention of going. Then I'm having this political discussion that I had no intention of getting into, sometimes online, which is, I need to avoid the rabbit holes as well. Jean, did you have anything you wanted to throw in or put you on the spot again or put your doggy on the spot again? We'll keep going and you can jump in if you feel like it. Oh, go ahead.
I had to find the button. The yeah, I'm kind of the same as the others online here. Number one is I haven't found that Nigerian princess yet, but one day. The
your wife
the other
might
one
have
is
something to say about that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is she real
Yeah.
though?
The part about time management, it's really easy to go down a hole, and I even find myself with some of my friends on texting that you just got to get to a point where you're comfortable cutting them off so you can move on to something different.
Yeah. We don't have, like decades of experience with texting and with online networking. How do you say I have to go? How do you end a conversation without sounding like you're brushing somebody off? And those are things that we haven't had decades of etiquette and Emily Post and tradition and our parents teaching us and all of those things. So there are some really awkward scenarios and we kind of have to make up the rules as we go along. But yeah, I just put on the screen, this is what a poll that I used on my LinkedIn asking this question about a week ago. I think it's pretty evenly split, as far as what people have problems with. The biggest thing is knowing what to say. So that's kind of what we've planned this session about. A lot of it is going to be about figuring out what to say and who to say it to on LinkedIn. And we picked LinkedIn as our model for today. Most of what we talk about can be used on other media as well. We use Basecamp to ping each other. Stella will know sometimes I get going on pings on Basecamp and, can just keep going and going and going. And everybody's just like, you know what, this is more information than I really needed. And somebody in the team will shut me down and say, okay, I think we're good. We get the point. Move on, So most of what we talk about will work in any online forum, but I think everybody is using LinkedIn. And for my experience for the last couple of years, LinkedIn has been the most profitable of the media for our clients and the most universal. If we look at where have our clients that are keeping track gotten their clients from, or where have they gotten the most business from over the last 2 years, it's almost always LinkedIn. YouTube is a close second. Actually, not that close of a second. It was closer last year than it was this year. Cool. All right. So agenda for today, networking and online marketing, building your online presence, networking strategies, maximizing opportunities, making an offer. Sometimes the hard part is that they call it the turn in sales conversations, where you go from a conversation to an approach or a sales approach or a pitch. How do you do that without it being awkward, stupid, or offensive? And those kinds of things. Making an offer, and then we also have some appendices in your workbook that we will get to or not, as you guys see fit. Of course, there's a lot to cover, more than we could ever talk about in an hour. So I want you guys to kind of guide the conversation. Let me know what's useful, what's not. We're going to spend most of the time in either LinkedIn or ChatGPT, which is another one of my favorite tools, which I use extensively. I never cut and paste out of it, but I think I almost never cut and paste out of it. I shouldn't say that. but I think is an excellent tool for a lot of things that we try to do, including networking. Cool. So any thoughts or suggestions on the agenda? Any topics anybody would really like to get into today or that's not here?
Well, I think also add to that, Paula, is just for our group, the circle engagement, that you can bounce ideas off of, any of our other clients, off of each other. Hey, have you tried this? What do you think of this? What not? Because that's part of the reason it's there.
That is absolutely right. And that was a huge oversight on my part to not include Circle. We'll include a field trip into Circle, because these online networking groups, especially the limited ones, are often the best place to start relationships or start partnerships or, bounce ideas off of people in the industry or off of each other. So yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. Okay. I'm not going to read every slide. I know I don't need to convince anyone here, of the importance of networking online. I think most of us have either done it, and had positive results, or maybe acquired a customer using online networking. I would say we probably make several $1,000s a year from that I can directly attribute to online networking. And that is, sales of our courses. We sometimes sell those on almost directly on LinkedIn. Most of our consulting relationships have some element of LinkedIn or some other networking element before we make a final sale. Sometimes people find us through LinkedIn or continue the conversation in some way through that method. Anybody here not convinced that we should be doing it? Okay, I'm not going to spend any more time on that then. All right. So building your online profile. And, if we do this in LinkedIn, when we do what we call personal branding for a client, we like to start with LinkedIn because when we do it right for LinkedIn, it is almost always really good for everything else. So everything else would be a subset of that. So Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, anything else that they want to use. If we do a really good personal brand in LinkedIn, they can pretty much take what we do for LinkedIn and use some subset of that for some other format, just by simply tweaking it a little bit, changing the style a little bit, whatever. But putting this together is really, really important. We do a checklist with clients, and I think I've done this for some of you. Ben, we're working on this for you. Kelly, we've done this for you. And basically, we start with a questionnaire where we ask you all kinds of nosy questions, about your style, your preferences, your experience, anything that may or may not be on LinkedIn. And then we create a pretty detailed report. But if you are doing this on your own, or if you're doing this yourself, some of the things that you can do: a customized profile URL. You can use that in your signature line on your emails. You can use a QR code if you want to get people to your LinkedIn profile. Anything you can do to merge your online and offline networking, I think, is a good thing. So you can put a little QR code on your business cards or on your brochures or anything that you hand out in a professional networking situation. I think that everybody should get a professional photo taken every 3 years. And the reason for that is because if you feel good about the way you look on LinkedIn, you're more likely to share your profile. You're more likely to engage with other people, because that little photo is going to show up after every single thing you say. And if you don't like your picture, there's going to be a psychological block to getting it out there. But if you feel okay about it, and I know none of us actually, is a human condition that none of us is really, really happy with our picture. But if you don't hate it, that's going to help you with your motivation there. Use the real estate of your LinkedIn profile banner. Write a summary. A lot of people leave that blank. And you have all of the bits and pieces of your profile. Every one of those things is an opportunity to use the keywords that you want to be found for. So if someone is looking for, they're looking for management of their aircraft operation, they would find Kellie. If they're looking for regional or mobility solutions, they would find Ben. If they're looking for travel writing, they would find Stella. If they're looking for, I want to buy a CJ Plus, or a CJ3, they'd find Jean. So all of those things are things that should be working the same as they do for any other web page. So, those summaries, the bullet points for your experience, all of those things are opportunities to not only write compelling copy that people are going to like, but also to write material that's going to get caught by the search engine. So when people are looking for somebody on LinkedIn, who do I know that can help me with this problem? Or who do I know that's in this industry or in this field? They should find you. And if they don't, it's because you're not writing enough about what you really do.
You can also customize your profile URL. So instead of just saying, LinkedIn / Paula Anderson, Paula Williams, you can put LinkedIn Paula Williams / aviation marketing guru consultant or whatever. Helps make it a little bit more targeted on searches.
Exactly. So let's take a field trip. Does anybody want to volunteer their profile?
You're more than welcome to look at mine because we're going to work on it in the next week or so, aren't we, Paula?
We are. Yep. And I have yours up, so that's really helpful. Great. So and some of the things that I love about this, I love that you have the pronunciation of your name with the sound file. That makes it so much more comfortable when you're getting on the phone with somebody, because a lot of times, especially since we're a global world now, I work with a lot of people that I would have no idea how to pronounce their name if they didn't tell me, or if they didn't have this on their profile. And that just makes it so much less awkward if you're meeting them in person or if you're calling them on the phone. To have a pronunciation of your name in there. What else do you see about Ben's profile that you really, really like or really dislike? We're all grown-ups here. I'm sure we'll be fine with that. I like the background. I think this is really cool. A lot of people just leave that blank. And, I like the fact that you've got some keywords: management, leadership, vision, and goals. I know this is a person who I would be comfortable with because I worked for Franklin Covey for a bunch of years. And I know he speaks that language, because he's been in that kind of a world, or has that interest at least. So that makes me feel better knowing something, before I would reach out to Ben, either online or in person or on the phone or anything else. Okay, so if somebody from this room, Stella, let's say you were wanting to approach Ben about anything, you wanted to sell him copywriting services, as an example. How would you go about doing it? What would be your method of figuring out what is there about Ben that might make him a good candidate for you?
Well, I would probably first read this about section to see what is Ben all about.
There you go.
What does he want to do? What are his goals? What are, the things he's wanting to accomplish in his business, whatever.
Yeah.
That would give me ideas that I could go into message and say, hey, Ben, I saw your face or your LinkedIn profile and you were looking for, copywriting services to reach more of your clients. I am an aviation copywriter, blah, blah, blah. But by reading that about section, it would give me some ideas as to, am I on target for what I'm even reaching out to Ben for?
Yeah.
And so many people don't have an about section that says about. I'm Paula of ABCI.
That's it.
No, okay. What's your background, Paula? What is ABCI? What do you want to do? Gives you a little bit more idea for not only for people reaching out to you, but if you're reaching out to other people, you can say, hey, check out my about page, or, like in the featured section, I could say, look at some samples of my articles in the featured section.
Right.
So you can use that profile in so many ways.
Absolutely. And, the interesting thing is when I work with clients that say that that LinkedIn is not that great for them, or they get a lot of spam on LinkedIn, or they get a lot of irrelevant stuff. In some cases, they are maybe coming to aviation from some other field and, have financial services or cryptocurrency or something like that in their profile. And they're still getting a lot of messages about cryptocurrency or something like that. So this goes both ways. If you want to be on the receiving end of good stuff, then, you need to be, you need your antenna to be tuned to the right frequency. So if you're still getting a lot of messages about cryptocurrency and you're complaining about it, maybe look through your profile and say, you know what, I'm not as helpful as it could be to me, because I'm not putting out the right signals, and people think I'm still interested in something I'm not anymore. Let me see if I can come up with a good exercise. It's not.
What are your thoughts on? They allow short videos.
They do.
I've tried to do a couple.
Mhm.
Don't like the way they play.
Okay.
I don't think it's active now on the page.
Right.
But what are your thoughts on those short videos, the introductions?
For a while, they had like a 15 or 30-second video in this space. You'd click your profile photo and it would play a 15-second video or 30-second video. I actually did that, but I don't think it made any difference to my LinkedIn stats. I eventually removed it, and I think LinkedIn has removed the feature. One thing I do, and I recommend, and every time we do a personal branding, we make an outline of a video that you should record as an introduction on your LinkedIn profile. And where you put it, you can put it in the featured section here, and it's usually just a short introduction. Hey, my name is Ben. I am working on this project, and I'm really looking for people who have an interest in these areas. And if you'd like to connect, send me a DM or send me a message, and let's talk about regional air mobility or UAVs or something really cool, and things like that. So that I think it gives people a comfort level if they have seen your face moving and seen or heard your voice come out of a video. They feel a whole lot better about talking with you. And I would say, of the clients that we've had or that we've acquired over the last 10 years, the vast majority of them mention a video that they've seen of myself or John and myself or something like that. And they say, I felt comfortable calling you because I knew how you would feel about this particular topic, or I knew that you knew something about this subject area.
You can even put a link to it in your about section.
Yeah.
If you wanted. So, learn more about me, link.
Right.
To your website, to your YouTube, wherever you store that video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some people are storing them on Vimeo, or even YouTube. YouTube puts a lot of junk on your videos, but using a third-party video service, and I know you probably have some connections to something like that. I don't like to what is the word? Depend on a social media for something they're not good at, and hosting video is not LinkedIn's forte. But of course, you can always post short videos here, and if you keep it under 2 minutes, they seem to serve it pretty well. If it goes over 2 minutes, it starts to hang because their servers are really not built for that. So
you also lose your audience's attention. They don't want to listen to you for 2 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever.
Not on a first contact, that's for sure.
Exactly. Or unless it's really on point to what it is they're looking for, they'll go, I don't want this, and they'll leave. Whereas if it's a 15-second intro, hi, I'm Ben, this is what I do, this is my interest, blah blah blah, and then you're more likely to get engagement because it's short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah. Jean,
I do think there's something to be said for hearing your voice.
Yeah.
I like that there's a familiarity then with having heard the voice. So I really like that. I'm taking notes over here. I really like that idea of, because then I think, oh, I know you. I don't, but I do. Or you sound approachable. You sound, I don't know. I like that idea though. Thank you.
You sound human, right?
Right.
And I think, what both of you said about, there's so much fake stuff on the internet. videos are harder to fake than anything else. I know it's possible, but nobody in general is going to go through the trouble of creating an intro video that's fake. At least that's another barrier to entry for the robots and the AI and everything else. So I know it's possible to do that, but you can usually tell if a video is fake. So having a real person with a real voice saying real things, that you really agree with and you feel like you could do business with that person, that's a great way. And it also sometimes turns people off. If they say, you know what, I don't want to do business with a middle-aged white woman, okay, well, you know what? Keep walking. I don't want to talk to you either. You know what I mean? So it saves us all a lot of time. If that's where you're coming from or where you're wanting to go, people kind of self-select based on personality. Jean, did you want to jump into your profile? Is that your?
Oh, I take the next 2 hours if I jumped in. So on Ben's account here,
Okay.
I seem to have two accounts. I have one under my name and one under my company name, and they aren't linked at all.
Okay. Let's fix it.
Yeah.
You're lucky
So
because usually LinkedIn doesn't allow that.
hold on. Where did you just find that?
I just typed in Jean Cloud into the search window.
Hold on.
There are
See?
many of you.
That's half of the problem is.
Okay.
Okay, when I type in my name, I don't see the same thing. How come?
I don't know. It looks like there are 1, 2, 3 of you.
The reason is because, Gene,
My
you're
God,
a
I'm stretched
first.
thin.
Well, no, you're a first order relationship, which always goes to the top of the list when Paul is logged in and searches first people, then second, then thirds. So when you search for yourself, you're not first. What do they call it? You're not a first order relationship to yourself. So you get the open search.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes me better than I do.
Right. And this is the one
Well,
connected to. This is the Jean that I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
Right. And those other genes, you're not connected to them.
No, I'm not. It looks like I should be though, because if you are connected to Christy,
Hey, Christy, yeah, those are, I know Christy.
Yeah, then that sounds like the Jean that I know as well.
Yeah, it
Well-
sounds like you've somehow managed to get more than one LinkedIn account, which technically is not permitted. But if you use multiple emails to sign up and link, then that could be why.
Oh. Well, and it's interesting because I'm the only Gene Cloud in the United States of America.
Right? There's one in Cairo.
Okay, so I need to figure out how to delete some of these.
Right. And I would, because, you've got people who are connected to all of these. And, if you really wanted to spend some time on this, you could send messages to all the people that you're connected to on this profile and say, hey, I'm really this Jean Cloud. Here's the link to my real profile. Connect with me there. We'll need to.
And I would recommend doing that because you don't want to lose those connections.
Yeah.
As
Let's
you
do an
do
office hour, Jean, and that's going to be, like you said, it's going to be more than we can talk about here, but we do need to do it, and it is not uncommon. Let me see if this one is connected to the company. I think it is. Yep, there you are. Great Circle Aircraft is your company. There's your little logo, and Life is Good. So if you use only this profile and get rid of the others, and let's set up a time to do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, cool. I am typing the office hours.
No wonder I'm so confused. Huh.
.com/office hours. Okay, my link is the link to my calendar is in the chat, so you can set that up. And yeah, let's spend some time sorting that out. And it may not happen overnight because you have to send a request. Blah, 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 blah. It's not as easy as it should be to just delete a profile.
Okay. That's
good.
Well, I've only ignored it for about 10 years, so let's not jump on it too fast.
Okay. That's totally fine. And actually, I like this profile of yours. So, I think this is well done. I like your background image. This looks like Seattle. Even the sky looks like Seattle.
It's actually Oklahoma, Hayward.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. My
Just
mistake.
a cloudy, rainy day.
I picked a Seattle day in Hayward.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the Bay Area. Morning clouds and afternoon sunshine.
Oh my goodness. Right. Cool. Anything else you want to talk about, Gene, while we're here?
No, it needs repair, and I got to do something with it. So
Okay.
we'll get it done.
All right. Absolutely. I know we've been working together forever, and if we did a profile review for you, it was probably 10 years ago. We probably
Right.
need to do it again.
Oh yeah.
Technology has changed a lot. So yeah, let me do that and then set up a time and we'll go through it and we'll get that all fixed up.
Yep.
So perfect.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So and while we're doing field trips, let's go ahead and go to Circle. Everybody here is invited to Circle. I don't know how active any of you are other than Stella, who is our queen of Circle. What this is a social network, and I know some of you guys have businesses, Stella and Ben, especially, where you have thought about having kind of an insider group for your clients or for your constituency, people in a community. Tom Lelio in the aviation industry has one of these that is for brokers and aspiring brokers. And it's free, and he basically just puts out there documents, books, things that he's found useful. If you're looking for this type of document for this state or whatever and stuff like that, here's an example, etc. What we use it for is marketing, of course. And some of the things that have come from this network are some, I guess you'd call it, there's a software company that found another software company. So it's actually Business Aircraft Records and ETT Aviation. ETT Aviation does fleet management, inventory, scheduling, etc., and so forth. And they found that if they integrated their software with the Business Aircraft Records that does the aircraft maintenance records, they had a better product altogether. And, they found that out. Sometimes you find that out through networking events like this one. Sometimes you find that out through something like Circle. I don't know that Sonia and Larry ever met any other way besides Circle before they started that conversation. And, now they're both mentioned on each other's websites and, they're selling to each other's customers, and it's actually a really cool thing. I don't know which of my clients, I always am looking for opportunities for each of our clients to work together because it's so much fun to connect people together. And that's honestly how the most successful people I know become successful, is by being good connectors. And this is kind of a fun place to do it. We've got topics like, copywriting, which is Stella's favorite and mine too.
SEO.
SEO, of course, as well. Sales questions and problems, web tech and security. John, my husband, and John Spottle are two web guys, the J squared, manage the web tech and security group, and, have a lot of really good information there. AI and chat GPT, there's some nice prompts that people like. We've got a private area for our team to talk about each other and solve our problems and things like that in here. So, if you are looking for an opportunity, sometimes the best way to sell your product or service is to connect your clients to each other. And, that leads to referrals, that leads to them doing business together, that makes it more sticky among each other. Does a lot of things like that. And the better people know our other clients, the better for everybody, in my opinion. So, yeah. Anything else you want to say about Circle? This is your forte, Stella, not mine anymore. I started it and you took it over and are running with it, and I love it. So,
Well, I wish it would allow us to schedule posts, but it hasn't got there yet.
no.
You
It makes it more real, though,
True. You have to do it live site type of posting. But, if there's, if you have a question about something, hey, what do you think about this?
Mm-hmm.
You can put it out there and get feedback from other people, whether it's one of us from ABCI or one of your, aviation colleagues that are doing it, or, hey, my new LinkedIn profile is up.
What do you
take a
think?
look
Yeah,
at
get
what do
some
you think?
feedback.
And people will take a look at your LinkedIn profile and say, hey, wow, really nice. Or, I don't really like this. Could you change this? You can get feedback on things like that, or, maybe you're redoing a website. I mean, so you can put things out there to say, hey, what do you think about?
Yeah.
And get feedback from, aviation colleagues on that thought, whatever it might be.
Right. Exactly.
Mhm.
So yeah, a couple of other things in here. Wins Wednesdays. This is good for networking because if you post about things that you do, then people will notice those things and say, hey, I want you to do the same thing for me. Let me find one that's, I try to talk about our clients. Sometimes our clients will talk about themselves. This is Adila's first sale. She developed an information product about ChatGPT and she made her first sale. This was in March. I think she's done quite a few more since then. It's just so much more fun to share your wins with people who are going to celebrate with you. And if you get in the habit of sharing your wins, then you're looking for them, if that makes sense. So you're looking for what could I say this week that was good? And even if it's a tiny thing, it gets you in the mode of being positive, which always makes things better for networking. And it also gets you in the mode of connecting with other people because you're talking about your product or service. And this is one where Michael got a letter of support from a partner, and I think that's amazing. You may not want to share it in public, but you can share it with people in the industry. It's kind of a smaller group. And, those are a great way to give people an opportunity to connect with you as well. This was Kelly, you were in the Business Aviation Collective podcast, and we used that as a Wins Wednesday one time. So anything that we can do to talk about each other, people love gossip, people love to hear about each other, and so on. So the Wins Wednesdays, I think, is a great habit to be in. Pitch your product is another excellent space to do that. Stella advertises her copywriting. Books. We need to put Tim's new book in here. There's a lot of things that could be pitched in this section. We did a thing for Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, things like that. We also have events and birthdays. So, we love to talk about people. And people are really what business is all about. And if you're curious about people and you're curious about each other and you're willing to connect, you can use LinkedIn, you can use Circle, you can use anything that's available to you. The question is, and we're going to spend the last 10 minutes on time management because it is so easy to have, okay, here's one more thing I got to spend time. I got to do Wins Wednesdays. The thing that we do the most, or the thing that I would recommend coming out of this session with, if we do that, do anything at all. And every workshop you go to is a complete waste of time unless you do at least one thing as a result of that workshop. So if there is one thing that I would recommend that you do, it would be Follow Fridays. Start doing Follow Fridays. And what Follow Fridays are is a routine that you set for yourself. And maybe it can't be Fridays. I mean, I don't know what your life is like. I just like to set up Follow Fridays because I love alliteration and because it's just easy for me to do and because people are a little bit more relaxed on Fridays. And I will remember to do it. If I put it on my calendar as an inviolate thing, every Friday, I'm going to spend an hour and I'm going to do these things. I'm going to search for 10 people who fit the criteria that I'm looking for right now. Does anybody have questions about, you guys have all done LinkedIn searches, or actually let's just do one for the sake of, anybody have a group of people that you want to search for in particular, like maybe charter operators or charter brokers who operate in the Bahamas? We'll do that for Stella. Does that sound good?
No.
We all want to talk about the Bahamas, so and is relevant to aviation, so we can do that. Okay. So I'm looking for people who operate, and I'm actually going to specify that more, air charter operators in the Bahamas. So now we have, and it's going to fix my spelling. That's nice. Okay. So we have a ton of people, and we may want to narrow that down more. So all of these things, these little pillboxes along the bottom here, are filters. So we can filter by area. We can say we want only people that speak English. We want people who, if I look for people as an example, in fact, I can even do all filters and it'll give me even more options. Right. So then I can look for people that I don't already know, second and third connections. I can look for maybe connections of another travel writer that you know, Stella. People who are doing business with that person, but they should be doing business with me because I'm better. Yeah, I love to do this with competitors because this is just so much fun and they will never know that you did it. So all's fair in love and war. Okay. And, maybe you want to look for people who went to the Florida Institute of Technology because you have a connection there. That gives you an instant way of making a connection saying, hey, I graduated this year, you graduated that year. We're in the same industry kind of thing. You want to look for people who speak English, unless you're really good. Yeah, and you can put in quite a bit of information into these filters and then find 10. Let's say we want to search Stella, you don't care if they're in the United States, right?
No,
And you don't care what company they work for.
no,
Do you care what school they went to?
no.
Do you care
And
what?
it could be English, Spanish, or French.
Okay. Oh my gosh, you're one of those people. Great. Okay, and we could add an industry here. So we could say tourism or travel or something like
Hospitality.
that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Is that all we want?
And to start with, see what it gives us.
Oh.
You don't want to have too many in there so that it filters out everybody.
Yeah.
So you can always go down and filter more if it still has a list of 110.
Right.
Um,
So,
yeah.
and these are for me. Yours will have more because you're doing travel. I'm not really doing hospitality. I have like zero networking
Right.
hospitality.
Right.
So I came up with 6 people. So if my goal for Follow Friday was to follow 10 people, I'd have to do this again with different criteria to come up with 10 people. But I would follow or connect with each of these 10 people. And then, the following Friday, I might have the goal to message each of them and to come up with a custom message for each of them that is maybe asking them something about their business. The first contact I love to do is always asking them a relevant question. So something that you saw on their profile. So let's say we've followed, Nancy Marino. So she has a Robin Williams quote. You might do, hey, I loved Mrs. Doubtfire. That was like my favorite movie ever. And I think Robin Williams is amazing, or, anything that you can find that connects you with that person and say, by the way, I'm in the travel industry and I thought we should connect. So, you're not pitching anything with your first connection. You're just saying, here's something we have in common. And here's a reason that I think we should connect.
Also an example of a bad LinkedIn profile, know about section.
Know about section, exact. Well, she's got a quote in there. That's better
She has
than
a quote, but I mean, it doesn't tell you anything about her.
No, it doesn't. That's true. So, but she does have a lot of good experience here, that you could
Right.
say, hey, I'm interested in the fact that you've done these kinds of trips and so forth and so on, and other things. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff here that you would
Oh
find.
yeah, you could find something.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have an hour on your calendar. You've connected with Nancy Marino and 9 other people, and you've had a somewhat useful conversation. Sound good? Worth your time? Stella?
This is
Yeah.
Well,
I
this
loved
is
it. I'm up to 912 connections. So yeah, I've done a little bit of this.
Absolutely. So you do 10 a week, and you'll add another 300 a year, 300 plus per year. So that is an amazing way to grow your profile. I like to write 1 or 2 recommendations for people who have impressed me in the last, and I just lost my place. That's weird. I like to write 1 or 2 recommendations for people who have impressed me in the last week, because I think that makes a lot of sense. They don't have to have cured cancer, right? They don't have to save the world or anything like that. They just have to have done something good, that I appreciate. And, that does 2 things. 1, it starts making me think about people, which I don't naturally do. I'm kind of an introvert. I think about the tasks I need to do unless I force myself to think about people. So this habit has caused me to become a lot more sociable and a lot more grateful of the things that people do for me. So if somebody has helped me out this week, whether it's even related to work, I'll write them a recommendation, and not just an endorsement where you're just checking boxes saying this person is good at these things. I actually write a recommendation, and I use ChatGPT to help me do that. And I know we're running out of time, so we can go into any of these things in more detail in our office hours. I know I talked with all of you. Jean.
Stella, how much time do you spend on this? A day or week or month?
Me?
Yeah.
Probably 1 or 2 hours a month.
I can afford that.
Yeah. I spend an hour a week. Anybody else want to share what your current pattern is?
Mondays for me, about an hour, maybe a little less.
Cool.
Yes, I don't necessarily do it an hour block like Paula does. I go in when, I've seen their name on something, or I'm looking for something specific. So I don't necessarily have a block of time that I go out and do this. But all in all, when I am networking on LinkedIn, it's probably an hour to a month.
Cool.
So can I ask a strategy question here?
Yes.
Sure.
Please.
So if I were going to do that, do I go to my account and then look for a post, or what do I look for? And to your point, if I did 10 minutes a day for 5 days and instead of an hour a week, what would I focus on?
There's different things you could focus on. You can look at the features and the articles that have come through in your notifications during the last week. Because you notice if you log into LinkedIn, there's a notification section, and that has everything that has happened since you last logged in. If something there triggers your attention, you could, connect that way. You could do a search like Paula showed previously. If you're looking for, 10 specific people to link up with, who are in your area of interest, in your area where you want to grow, and do a search that way. You can look at just the aviation industry and what are some of the posts that have happened in aviation in the last week. There's several different ways you can do it.
Okay, and I just logged in and did the notifications, and you're absolutely right. I'm down to like 40.
Well, there's plenty of fodder for this week.
Yeah.
Right.
No kidding, right? What else was I going to do tomorrow, huh?
Right.
Exactly.
So, Jean, what you could do is look for founders in Kirkland or Seattle area,
Uh-huh.
Well, I have a real interesting one here because I can't use Washington because oftentimes I get the wrong Washington.
Okay, so you look for Seattle, Washington, United States, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, of course, Google, Microsoft, all that stuff comes up.
We have a few of those.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
So, you may be looking for, as an example, your Microsoft babies that have spun off businesses that now need travel solutions, or, are looking that kind of thing.
You could even add in there, Jean, Pacific Northwest. That would get you out of Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Oh, good point.
I hate to interrupt. I have to
some of those
dash.
people
It's
are
been
lost.
wonderful talking to you guys. Thank you.
Right, we're out of time. We always
Yeah.
do.
Oh, we are.
I'm sorry I've got a call, but thank you so much. Paula, this was fantastic. Thank you.
Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, exactly. So we do need to wrap up. I'm going to stay on for questions and answers and things like that, but I do want to respect your time. I know some of you have other places to be, and we have to, not an awkward sign off, because that's exactly what we were talking about, you know.
No,
Thank you so much, Ben. And yeah, we'll be talking about this more, I'm sure, and there's always more that we could talk about. But have a great afternoon, and hopefully it was a good hour for you.